If you've ever watched an episode of Black Mirror, you know that feeling you get when the credits roll, right? Kinda unsettled? The show is famous for these dark, twisted stories about our near future, where our coolest new inventions smash right into our worst human instincts. But what if the show isn't really about killer robot dogs or evil AI? What if it's actually about something way closer to home? Okay, let's get into it.
So ever since it first came out, Black Mirror has built this reputation as a super chilling look at our high-tech world. It's kind of like our generation's Twilight Zone, you know? Every episode is a brand new story, a whole new reality that's often just one or two steps away from our own. And it really loves to explore the nightmares that our technology could unleash. Honestly, it's become the go-to comparison for any new gadget that feels just a little bit creepy.
And this quote, wow, it just nails that feeling, doesn't it? The show is an expert at walking this razor-thin line. The tech is always amazing at first. It promises to fix our biggest problems, like grief or loneliness or insecurity. But that feeling of wonder almost always sours into straight-up horror, leaving you with this really disturbing feeling that just hits a little too close to home.
So, all of this leads most of us to a pretty simple conclusion. Black Mirror is a show about technology going wrong. It's just a bunch of cautionary tales, right? Warning us that our gadgets are the villains, or at least they're going to be one day. But is that really what's going on? Let's take a closer look.
I mean, the show for sure gives us a ton of reasons to be scared of our tech. We've seen a world where your entire life, your job, your home depends on a social media score. We've seen those terrifying robot dogs hunting people through a desolate wasteland. We've seen digital copies of human minds, they call them cookies, being basically tortured for what feels like centuries inside a computer. And of course, we've seen relationships completely fall apart because of implants that let you replay every single memory. Yeah, it's a pretty strong case for technology being the big bad guy.
But here's where the whole story kinda takes a sharp turn. The biggest clue to what the show's really about isn't in all the sci-fi gadgets or the dystopian futures. Nope, it's been right there in front of us the whole time. It's in the title.
Think about it for a second. When you turn off your phone, or your laptop, or your TV, what do you see in that blank, dark screen? You see a reflection. You see your own face staring back at you. That is the Black Mirror. The show isn't holding a mirror up to our technology. It's using technology as a mirror to show us ourselves.
And boom, there it is. The show's creator, Charlie Brooker, has said it himself. He argues that the problem isn't the device, it's the person holding the device. The whole point of the show isn't that technology is evil. It's that technology is just a powerful tool. It's a highway for our own desires, the good ones, and yeah, the really bad ones. The gadgets just crank up the volume on what's already there inside us.
So if the show is a mirror reflecting our own human nature, you gotta ask, how accurate is that reflection? And what's truly wild is how many of these scenarios that seemed so far-fetched are, well, not so fictional anymore. The line between the show and our actual reality is getting blurrier every single day.
Okay, this is where things get genuinely unnerving. Just look at these parallels. The fiction from the show is quickly becoming our reality. You take Nosedive, that idea of a social rating system seemed totally crazy, but it's the actual foundation of China's real-world social credit system. Or those robot dogs from Metalhead? They were directly inspired by real tech from companies like Boston Dynamics. From AI dead bots that let you talk to the deceased to brain implants that could record memories, the line is basically gone.
And we're not talking about abstract ideas here. To make that Nosedive parallel hit even harder, think about this. Back in 2017, China's social credit system had already blocked 6.15 million people from taking flights because their social score was too low. This isn't some distant future. For millions of people, it's happening right now.
So, if these technologies are already here or they're just around the corner, it forces us right back to that central debate. If the results can be this dystopian, can we really say technology is neutral, or is the tech itself part of the problem?
In this perspective, from a user on Reddit, it just cuts right to the chase. The argument is that some technologies aren't neutral at all. They're inherently destructive. I mean, you can't really separate a tool like a nuclear bomb from its purpose, can you? It was built for destruction no matter who pushes the button. From this point of view, it's not a neutral tool. It is, by its very nature, a weapon.
But then, from that very same debate, you get the complete opposite take. This person argues that technology is just a magnifying glass. Social media didn't invent being judgmental or narcissistic. It just gave the judgment and narcissism that was already inside us a global stage to play on.
The problem isn't the platform, it's the people using it.
So where does Black Mirror land in all of this? Pretty much right here. The show's core message seems to be that technology is like an unwilling accomplice. It's not evil on its own, but it's incredibly powerful, and it acts like a direct pipeline to our deepest human desires. The real villain in every story is never the gadget. It's always us. The dark side of tech that we see on screen is really just an extension of the darkness that already exists inside of us. The tech is just the mirror showing it to us. And that reflection forces us to ask some of the biggest questions you can even imagine. The show uses these crazy tech ideas not just to poke at our social problems, but to really wrestle with the fundamental nature of life, consciousness, and what it even means to be human in a digital world.
This is a huge one, and it taps right into our anxieties about our digital lives. I mean, we spend so much time building our online selves, our social media profiles, our digital legacy. The show just takes that to the absolute extreme. If you could upload your mind to the cloud, would it actually be you? Or would it just be a perfect copy, a ghost in the machine that thinks it's you? The original you would still die, leaving this echo behind. This isn't just sci-fi, it's a deep question about the soul and whether who we are is more than just data that you can copy and paste.
And let's be real, this one already feels way too close for comfort. We live in a world where algorithms seem to know what we want before we do. Our phones are listening, our apps are tracking us, our private data is the most valuable thing in the world. Black Mirror just asks, what's the last frontier of privacy? And the answer is your own mind, your unspoken thoughts, your private memories. If a technology like the green from the entire history of you existed, there would be no more secrets. Every mistake, every little lie, every passing thought could be put under a microscope forever. It's a terrifying idea that maybe, just maybe, real connection requires the freedom to forget and the space to have a part of yourself that nobody else can ever get to.
This question really pushes our ability to feel empathy. We already get annoyed with customer service bots or bark commands that are smart speakers. We treat them like tools. But Black Mirror shows us these digital copies that are indistinguishable from a human. They can feel pain, loneliness, and terror. So at what point does a simulation of suffering become actual suffering? If a complex piece of code can perfectly replicate a person's consciousness, do we have to treat it like a person? Or is it just property? The show suggests that how we answer that question says a lot more about our own humanity than it does about the tech. It's a warning that in our race to build perfect tools, we might be destroying the very empathy that makes us human in the first place.
So, after all of this, what are we supposed to do? If the show's message isn't as simple as technology is bad, then what is the big takeaway? What's the warning we're actually supposed to be listening to?
Well, Black Mirror is not trying to get us all to become Luddites. It's not telling us to smash our smartphones and go live off-grid. The show's point isn't to make us afraid of progress, it's to make us practice a little introspection. It's really a call for self-awareness in a time when it's just so easy to blame our tools for our own mistakes.
And this quote just sums up that call to action perfectly. The show is basically a philosophical prompt. It's demanding that we don't just passively accept whatever new gadget comes along. Instead, we have to actively engage with it, debate it, and really wrestle with the ethical questions it raises, both as a society and as individuals.
And in the end, the series leaves us with this really powerful and personal challenge. The technology is going to keep changing, giving us new wonders and, new horrors. But the one constant in that whole equation is always going to be us. So the show's final lingering question isn't about what our devices are going to become. It's about what we are going to choose to be. The next time your screen goes dark, take a look. What do you see?